Okay guys, we are in Orlando, Florida. Is near Windermere for a pool cage and pool deck cleaning. We have a lot of vegetation which we are gonna pre-soak before we start. Let me show you what we have. So that's some of the vegetation outside. But we have the normal green algae, cobwebs. We have cobwebs up there. That's the normal stuff. The cobweb blind mosquitoes and everything that we normally get build up, just normal stuff, nothing crazy. Over here we have a little dirt buildup. We're going to take care of this and clean up the piping. The piping is not too bad, just a little algae starting to grow. Mostly spider webs. And you can see here, got some buildup. And these corners have a little bit that we'll be able to get to. Some of that buildup, we'll be able to get to some of that. Just the normal stuff. Screw coming out. Little exit pad. Exit pad is gonna hold a little water. We're gonna try to push it across. Then the outside is going to be some of the normal, just normal organics. And you can see right up in there, that's normal organics. Okay, it's normal organic buildup here and along the back side. It's a little lichen up there. That's the normal stuff. We can't get on the back side of this because there's no way getting on the back side of that. But we'll get the inside screens. We'll get all that taken care of. Be back with some more footage. Hello YouTube, this is Dexter with Essential Pressure Washing once again, doing a voiceover. We are cleaning a pool enclosure in the pool deck. We have large vegetation. As you can see, the bush that is beside me is just as tall as the pool deck. And it's close to the pool deck as well, so I can't get between it. We will hit the screens from the inside on this side of the pool cage. I'm applying a 1% mix. I use the gas-powered Comet P40. That's my weapon of choice. I do have a Flow Pro, so I can downstream and remotely control it. I can remotely control it downstream, but I haven't used it because I was trying to push the system, the Comet P40, to its breaking point, and it's been nearly 3 years, but it has not broken yet. So I guess I'm still in the testing phase with it. So I will apply chemicals and rinse the cage with the P40, but since the deck of this cage here, the deck flooring is heavily covered, it just make light work of it when I use the pressure washing wand. Therefore, I already have hose pulled out. Once I'm done applying my mix on the outside and inside of this pool cage, I will rinse it down with a 10 gallon a minute pressure washer, J-Rod fan tip. The rinse fan tip I'm going to use on it to kill the PSIs. And also because the floor is painted and this is an old pool deck and pool enclosure, we don't want to lift any of the paint, so we're going to use that wide fan tip on there to rinse everything out of the pool cage area, in which on the outer pads of this pool cage it has a lot of mud, so it's going to be kind of hard to get the stuff pushed across there, but we'll figure it out. I might have to pull out the big squeegee and help squeegee it out a little bit, get it across there, because we have a lot of mud inside the pool cage from the plants. The big large plants has a lot of mud, and with the bushes around the cage, it's just not good drainage at all. Okay, anyway, I'm cutting the machine off by remote. Taking the camera, we're going to go into the inside of this pool cage to apply our mix at 1%. So the machine, the Comet P40, I have a remote to start it up, cut it off. Then I also have a blend manifold. It's remotely controlled as well. So on each arm, you'll see the big remote controls, the TV remotes, whatever you want to call them. On one arm is for cutting chemical on and off. The other arm is to crank the machine up and to cut it off. That's with the soft wash machine. So now here we are applying our mix on the areas of the screen and on the cage itself, and the green is fading away quickly. It's very, very, very windy, and so we're fighting the wind a little bit, getting chemicals all in the face, but we have safety glasses on, of course, guys. Have your safety protection. So now we're gonna put a little mix on this side here, get some of the facial and the soffits on this side because it was full of spider webs. We're applying the mix down through all this here section, reaching across, getting behind us a little bit. You can see the floor. I have already put a pre-treatment on the floor with my pump-up sprayer with a 5% because it had heavy algae in the drainage of the pool deck, and I wanted to kill that off, and then I'll be able to blow it out of there with the when I do my rinsing. So now just hitting some of the long shots on the other side, get some of the cage, hitting it from over here, and then I get up closer and get the opposite side of that the cage piping. And right up in this section right here, we have some nice heavy algae buildup, but like I said, it's breaking down with a 1% mix, and we'll have this thing treated in no time, and we'll be off to rinsing to rinse it up and get that all cleaned up on the rinse, and then we can give you guys a final walkthrough to show you what it looks like, because I want to get out of here before it rains, because we have a heavy overcast now and it looks like it want to rain. Okay, I'm moving the camera to get some other shots that I didn't get already, and then just to go across a few areas that I have already hit, just to make sure that everything is going to clean up like we like it to clean up. So now you can see I'm hitting the other area of the piping up top, and while I hit the piping up top, I also hit the screens and put the mix there. Now I'm applying the 1% to the floor. Like I said, I had already previously off camera, I had treated some of that heavy staining with a 5% out of a pump up sprayer, and now everything is loose and just coming right off. We're still going to lay another 1% on top of that, and then we're going to rinse it down with the pressure washer. Okay guys, stay tuned for some more cleaning. So here we are now with the rinsing phase of this project. I switched over to the pressure washer so that I can rinse and clean this floor once I'm on the inside. We are rinsing the outside right now. Like I said before, the pressure washer is a 10 gallon a minute pressure washer. We are using the J-rod with the nozzle that you would normally apply your mix with. The nozzle that you would normally apply your mix with. So this is a wide fan tip, and it cuts back the PSIs a lot because we're not trying to blow any screens out. If you use, even with just the J-rod, if you use the one that is more pressure with this pressure washer, on these older screens you can push them loose. So we don't want to do that. So we're getting all the top of the piping, or the top of the edge of the cage here, which had a little bit of lichen on it, and we are getting the screens really nice. And we're going to cross here. Remember, it's very windy. I'm coming now. I got the camera, so I'm going to give you a little better angle. Can't get too close up on the cage with the camera because the wind is blowing sporadically here, and I'm spraying off. So we are definitely moving along really nicely here. The algae has broke up really well, and this rinsing is simple. It's like slicing butter right now. Once I get on the inside of the cage, I do have on this back area what I'm working, I do have a lot of mud to deal with right there because of the plants in the vegetation. A lot of the stuff is overgrown with weeds and stuff in the inside of the flower beds, so it has a lot of sand, mud and stuff. We'll have to push that back into the proper places and clean it up the best that we can for the condition that it is in, and also to make a big difference with the whole appearance of this this cage here. So now we have the outside of it all rinsed off. Make our way back to the other side, collecting hose right here as we're going. Get back. Now we're going to go into the inside of this cage, and we're going to start rinsing off on the inside. Now you will see there's going to be a moment when the camera gets flipped over by the hose. Just getting started with this video stuff, so I'm not good at it, but we're rinsing down, getting those webs and getting some of the chem off of the screen and cleaning the piping as well. And while we're doing this, we're also giving the vegetation another rinse off. That's important too. We had rinsed them really good, wet them up real good before we start applying, and then now with this cleaning excuse me, you seen right there that corner when I was pushing that mud around, it was steady coming back in from the outside because the bushes, the roots has pushed the soil up on this side of the cage. So when you're trying to rinse, mud and dirt is steady sliding back in on you. I explained that to the customer and she understood. She kind of knew about it anyway. So here we're getting some of the long shots. I can't really go over there in that part because it's nowhere to step because the vegetation is big and it's kind of out of control. Okay, so right here we're on that back side. We're doing screens and doing piping. That's when my camera fell. Okay, I looked at it and fortunately it didn't crack the screen, so get back to work. We're going at it again. And I have my chest mount on, and I was thinking I was going to put the camera on my chest mount to do the floor, but of course as I was spraying and got into the moment, I forgot to switch from tripod to chest mount, so I had the chest mount on with no camera attached to it. Anyway, we are cleaning up this piping here in the screen as we go, and everything is coming out really nice, and you can see the wind is still blowing very hard there. I'm switching off there to the longer tip to take a long shot across over there. There it is. That's the shooter tip on there, so we can go out and reach over and get some of the stuff before I walk over there to it. I wanted some of this stuff already rinsed out of my way, so that's why I put that tip on. It's a shooter tip. It allows me to get great distance without being up on it, and that is not the one that we would use for rinsing. That's the one that you would use for applying chemical if you were downstreaming, but we use it for rinsing because it's a little safer. Once again, when you're working in areas like this. Now we went back to the fan tip, so I'm gonna fan it out. I'm gonna go over some of what I already went over before, give it another rinse off, and like I said, we're rinsing the plants again too when we're doing this rinse, a really nice thorough rinse. We're gonna rinse all our piping up. We're gonna have to go over into the little area over there where the vegetation is, and it's very muddy up in there, so we're gonna go over there and fight with that a little bit. That's why I'm pulling some hose. Get up in here and fight with this a little bit, and the sand was going right into the pool, and off camera I had to take it and pull some of the mud back over there by hand to pull it out of the way so that I could get the mud from off of the pool deck on that side over there. I believe it's been a while since this stuff has been, the weeds been pulled out of her flower beds up inside of this pool cage, and it's just overgrown in a lot of areas, and it's missing paint, most likely from just being an older deck. But anyway, we're gonna get it nice and squeaky clean for what it is. And at the end of the day, I walked it with the client. She was very happy with the work. Okay, so now I am rinsing a little bit. I'm gonna just check myself a little bit. Just check myself with some of this piping, some of the screens. Just give it a little once over on the rinse before I move forward and start rinsing off the floor. Okay, here we are now. Now I'm rinsing the floor. Everything is already loose because I had pre-treated it with a hot mix out of the pump sprayer, 5%. And then I came over top of that 1%. So this stuff is just sliding off. Like, I guess you could say it's just cutting right through it. You can see for yourself. I actually had rinsed that window, and man, we had a lot of dust came down once I rinsed the window and rinsed the door. I'm just gonna go ahead and rinse that up for him since I'm up in here anyway. She's not getting a house wash. It could use a house wash, but right now the client only wanted the pool cage and the pool deck done, so that's what we're doing. But we are throwing in a little extra right there. All this stuff is extremely dusty. When I sprayed just a little rinse water on it, a lot of dust came off of there. So I did mention to her that, you know, she could use a house wash. She said maybe at a later date. Anyway, now we're gonna push it this way because it's hard pushing the water out the other way. The water kind of built up on me and wasn't going anywhere, but I can send it this way and it's a little better drainage this way. So I'm gonna go across this right here a couple of times, just rinsing it, and going over a few times just to push out some of the stuff that got left behind. But the floor is already cleaned up beautifully. The cage cleaned up beautifully. The screens, now you can see out of them. The webs are gone. Okay, so we're down in that corner and I tried to work that area again, but steadily some mud came in there. So we're gonna have to do a little something different with that. Anyway, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna push the water again back out of the other way. Just doing a once over on the gutter line. And on those windows right there, just give them a little rinse in case any Kim got on them from earlier. Now we're gonna give it that once over, pushing this water and making sure we didn't miss anything. We're back up in there around the table and there's very little dirt coming out now, so we're feeling more satisfied that our rinse and that our pool deck is really nice and clean. And so I'm going to let you sit back and enjoy the rest of this right here. Thanks for watching. Okay, we're all finished up here. I'm just going to show a little bit of this cage moving around. Right here, you can see where the paint was already thin. That is what I'm pointing out, where the dirt comes back in from outside. There's nothing at all you can do about that, but everything cleaned up beautifully. You can see the flooring and everything came out nice and clean. Okay, there's another angle showing that flooring again. I'm going to show some of the pool, the piping on it, how it's nice and white now. The screens are drying, but they're still wet. So, but you can see out of it more clearly now. So that is the finished product. We are out of here. Thank you for watching.